my fabric, I'll add a little bit of allowance to the armhole area for joining the sleeve. So we have 6.5 inches here on fold. By the time we open up and join the dart, we are going to have 13 inches for the front pit to pit measurement. So the next thing to do now is to place the bust measurement. So on the bust line, I'll place my round bust measurement divided by 4 plus seam allowance. And on the waistline, I'll place my round bust measurement divided by 4. I'll add 2 inches for that and my seam allowance. And then on the full length, I'll place my round hip measurements divided by 4. I'll add my dart measurement and my seam allowance. So I have 14.5 inches exactly. So I'll take my ruler now and just connect the points together. I'll connect this way. So I'll blend in the waistline so that it won't be too sharp, and then I'll go ahead to cut out the pattern. So I'll just go ahead now to cut it out. Then I'll open up the dart points this way. So after cutting out, this is what we have. So for the center front, we'll be having a bit of sweetheart neckline. So if I open it up, I'm going to just come down by 1 inch. So depending on how deep you want your sweetheart neckline, you can take 2 inches, 3 inches. Because I don't want it to be too open, I'm going to take 1.5 inches, and then I'll use my ruler to just connect the points together. Connect it this way from the center front, and then I'll cut it out. So after opening up, this is what it looks like. So I'll go ahead now to cut out the back panel. So for the back panel, I have my pattern paper in a fold of 2 already, and I've gone ahead to take my basic vertical measurements like I did for the front panel, and then I came in by 1 inch from the closed angle. This is going to be my zipper allowance. So just like I did for the front panel, the first line is the shoulder line, the next is the bust line, the third one is the waistline, and then the full length of the top. So I went ahead to place my shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 8 inches, as you can see. And then I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder scope. So remember to take all this measurement from the zipper allowance so that it won't interfere with your measurement. And then I took my round armhole measurement and formed my armhole curve. So the next thing to do is to place our off shoulder point, the point you want your top to start. So I'll come down by 5 inches, just like I did for the front panel. I'll take 5 inches from the shoulder line this way, and then I'll roll out a straight line and cut out the excess paper I have there. After out the extra, this is what it looks like. So the next thing to do now is to place the dart. So starting from the zipper line, I'm going to take my nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2, which is 4 inches, and added half an inch for joining. And then I'll place that same 4.5 inches on the bust line, and then on the full length of my top. So I'll take my ruler and connect the points together. I'll connect it down to meet the bust line this way, and then I'll come over to the full length of my top and take 1 inch on both sides. So you can make use of 0.5 inches if you are on the small size. And then from the bust point, I'll come down by 0.5 inches, and then take my ruler to form a slanted line down to meet that point, as you can see me doing in the video. So after doing that, the next thing is to place the round body measurement. So on the bust line, I'm placing my round bust measurements divided by 4 plus seam allowance. So make sure you are placing the measurements before the zipper allowance, not after the zipper allowance. So on my waistline, I put my round waist measurement divided by 4, and I added that same thing on my hip line. So I'll go ahead to connect all the points together. I'll connect the points together this way, So after doing that, this is what it looks like. So before we go ahead to cut it out, I'm going to come over to the waistline and just come in by 0.5 inches on the zipper allowance. This is to avoid any zipper bulging at the back. Then I'll take my ruler and just connect it this way. Just follow what you see me doing in the video. I'll connect it this way just to give it a kind of slant at the center back to avoid the zipper area from bulging. So I would cut out this shaded part. I'll cut it out. So for the neckline, remember we used 13 inches for the front pit to pit measurement. So for the back as well, we use the same 13 inches. So I'll go ahead to just mark 13 inches divided by 2, which is 6.5 inches on the neckline this way. And then I'll just connect these points down to meet the armhole area, forming the new armhole curve. So this is the part that will be used as the armhole curve. Now I'll go ahead to cross the other side out. So for the neckline, I'm going to just come down by 1 inch at the back so that it won't be looking too straight. So I'll take 1 inch and then use my ruler to connect it, forming a slant this way. So that is basically all for the back panel. I'll go ahead to cut it out now. So I'll be starting from the zipper area. I'll take out the zipper bulge and then I'll cut the remaining sides. And then I'll open up one side of the dart point and then close it up to cut on my fabric so that I won't need to be taking any dart in on my fabric. I'll close it up this way when I'm cutting on my fabric. So after cutting out the front and the back panel, this is what it looks like. So I went ahead to extend my dart to the upper part of my back panel and I closed it up with my pin. So when I'm cutting on my fabric, I won't have to sew in